in 2015, I had a visible breast change, and so I was referred to the breast surgeon. And at the time, they said, oh, you're eligible for genetic testing because of your family history. Unfortunately, I had an ovarian cyst rupture in June, and it wasn't really resolving quickly. And so it made me think, what did those genetic tests say? So out comes the file cabinet. And then I'm like, oh, this one says high risk for breast cancer. That's something I would have known intuitively. But the second one was for ovarian cancer. I'm like looking at a menu and being like, yes to this, maybe. I could consider that. And I'm not even ready to think about that. I was looking on YouTube and I was like, can I find another webinar? And, it was a panel of 5 people, but what the algorithm had brought me to was Dr. Potter. And right away, that's my surgeon. And I send her an email through the most generic way that you can contact any business, through the contact me form. By 2 a.m., she had already answered directly to me. She had multiple emails to me all weekend long. And the message is, basically, I'm going to hold you. I've got you. I'm your soft place to fall.
Vanessa's amazing. So she's a firecracker. And when I met her, I thought, oh my gosh, this patient, this woman she's going to change the world. So she's a patient who needs to have mastectomies in order to prevent breast cancer. And DIEP flap surgery is the gold standard of using your own tissue. And she had an idea in mind of what that journey was going to look like. And then this coding change happened.
We have a Tesla surgery, and insurance companies mentioned to the government agency, the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare, they think this Tesla code is outdated. And so they asked for the Tesla to be put into a Toyota Corolla code. This is a 40-year-old code. Well, fast forward, once we put it into practice, it wasn't reimbursed equally. It went down by 70 to 90%. And that one change reduces the access to patients to have the surgery in their community.
All of a sudden, I found myself with, in April 2021, a letter from a big insurance company saying, Dr. Potter, we're no longer going to pay you to perform DIEP flap surgeries in 90 days. So all insurance companies will stop paying at the end of 2024. At first, it felt very lonely. I sat down with my husband and I said, okay, no one's helping. My society isn't helping. We're going to have to fund this ourselves. And I went into high gear. That's when I started my nonprofit. That's when I hired lobbyists and started going to Washington. I think I've always been a fighter, and I've always been someone who roots for the underdog. I have a strong sense of justice, and I was raised that way. Just do the right thing. If someone's doing the wrong thing and someone's being hurt, how can you help right that wrong? Women are coming from Illinois, from California, from New York, from Pennsylvania. I get calls every week from around the country from women saying, I can't find anyone who will do my reconstruction. I don't understand why all of a sudden I don't have access to this. And I do understand why. It's because it's not being paid for.
I would love to see the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare stop rolling back the S codes and reinstate them. And then also I would love to see an update to the Women's Health and Cancer Rights Act of 1998 and make it of 2024. My surgery's coming up in July, and it'll in many ways feel like the beginning of my story. And so I'll be able to cross the threshold and reduce my risk for cancer and hopefully avoid becoming a breast cancer patient.
I love the fact that my job is helping people. And this is just another part of being a doctor. This to me doesn't feel any different than giving my best in the operating room. This is something that the patients that walk through my door need. They need me to speak up for them and advocate for them. I feel like we are in the position here in Austin to do to change the situation for the better nationally, and the partnership with St. David's and with HCA is very meaningful. When I go to Washington and people see that St. David's is supporting this, that means something, and I'm really grateful.